Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast. I am so excited you're joining today. If you don't know me, my name is Cameron Dobbs and I am your lovely host, also founder, co-founder, shout out my mama, and so much more. So in a nutshell, if you don't know already, this podcast is all about playing where your feet are. It's how to live a life full of living. It's knowing that any position you're in has impact and purpose to take advantage, not just take up space, and to do your best and be your best no matter what, no matter where. Now, Play Where Your Feet Are, PWYFA, is not just a podcast. It is a book. Book number 2 came out this year as well. We've got a prayer journal in addition to the book. We have merchandise, we have speaking engagements, we have camps, clinics, retreats, celebrate something soirees even, more to come on that this season, and so much more. So you can find books, merch, all the fun things on playwhereyourfeetare.com, Amazon as well for all of our Amazon lovers, and everything. So make sure to follow, subscribe, whatever you need to do to make sure you don't miss a thing, like we said, from the podcast to the hangouts to everything that we got going on. Easiest way to find out all the info is to go to @playwhereyourfeetare on Instagram or @cam.dobbs, and you won't miss any updates there. We always post everything first there. But with this podcast, just a little heads up, we have just 3 more episodes of the season. So one of them will be today. The next one will be with an incredible guest. Today will be with an incredible guest as well, of course. And then the last one will be wrapped up in January with yours truly, with a little solo-sode to end the season. So stay tuned. We got a couple more episodes of the season. It's going to be so much fun. And then we'll kick off season 5. But more to come with season 4 today. The reason you all are showing up, of course, we have an awesome episode for you guys with Joni David O'Connor. Now, who is that, you might ask, if you don't already know? Well, she is many, many things. She's been many, many things. She's a former athlete, for one. She's a former Nike fitness coach. She's been a business owner. She's now a business owner. She's worked in a few different industries, and now she's getting into fashion. So you might recognize some of her game day fits at the Miami Hurricanes games because she is none other than a mom to a cane. Ethan O'Connor, cornerback for the Hurricanes. Great year this year, by the way. She has been repping all season long, representing and rooting on her son, but also showing off her style on the sidelines. She's been killing it. She's so fun. She's DIY, but also with some spice. So you want to make sure you're checking out all she's up to. And we're going to dive into all of it today. So it's going to be a really fun episode because we're going to talk about her being a mom to a college football player, what that life really looks like, the transfer portal, the NCAA, college football, everything in between, but also how she is much more than a mom. So moms, I think you're really going to love this episode. College football fans, fashion designers, this episode is for everyone because Joni is really for everyone. So without further ado, let's bring her in and enjoy another episode of season 4 of the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast. This is the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast, and I'm your host, Cameron Dobbs. Joni David O'Connor, welcome to season 4 of the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, I am excited. I am excited to hear your story and to dive into all of this. But before we do, for those that maybe don't know how we met in the first place, is the greatest thing invented. Not really, but we're going to say it today. Social media. We met through social media, as so many of us do. But Joni is really, really cool, first and foremost. She is an awesome many things. You could just list the whole resume of what you are, Joni. But one thing that got my attention is that, of course, you are a mom to a Hurricanes football player. Go Canes. Yeah. But you are also very much, unique and individual in yourself as a mom, as a creator, as a designer, and so much more. We know you for the game day fits, but I want to get to know you for more than just that. And so I think just to kick us off here right away, Joni, can you just kind of introduce who you are, how you got here, and I think we'll follow it up with kind of where the game day fits came into play and everything else?
Way. Yeah, that's kind of the segue too, right? So you did a good job. I by all means am a full-on Hurricanes mama now. My son is now here at University of Miami. He started out his football career at the Washington State University, where my brother went to school, and he got drafted from Washington State. So it was kind of an exciting process. He had a bunch of offers, ended up at Washington State, redshirted his freshman year, and then played his sophomore year and had an amazing season. Ended up with 4 interceptions, total of 6, but 4 on record. One got called back, and the other one was on a after point or something.
Anyway, counted in the podcast though.
Counted in the podcast. So yeah, so he did reluctantly hit the portal. He really loved his school. He really loved it where he was at. He loved that college town vibe. He loved everything about his school. But we just couldn't avoid the conversations of transferring. So yeah, he ended up taking some visits. We came out to Miami. I thought it was going to be more so just for the trip to Miami. We ended up liking it. Coach Cristobal is amazing. His wife's amazing. Jessica's super cool. He decided to make that move. One of the things that he talked about a lot during the portal process was, hey, wherever I end up, I kind of want my mom to be there. And I heard him saying that to the coaches. I'm like, dude, you really don't really want your mom there, but that's so sweet. But I think, at the end of the day, he kind of was like, he knows I go to every game. I haven't missed a game ever, like college-wise. Even when he was redshirting, I was there as much as I possibly can. When he started playing, did not miss a game, home and away. So when we looked at Miami's schedule, there's 8 home games. And I'm like, well, he did say he kind of wants me there. So I came and I loaded him up in January. I went back to California, which is where we're from. And he kind of kept calling like, hey, when are you coming back, Mom? When are you coming back? And I'm like, I gave you a couple of outs, but I'm hearing it enough. Sure, let me tie up some loose ends. And yeah, I came back out to Miami in March. So I've been here getting a little bit settled, and yeah, it's having a lot of fun now. So
I love it. Okay, so are you fully in South Florida, or do you still have a place in Cali?
yeah, so I'm kind of bi-coastal, but my place, I did get an apartment here, not eat with Ethan, not with my son. He would have killed me. He wouldn't have liked that. So we are like 5 minutes apart, so it's great. So I'm able to help when I can, just kind of be a little bit of extra support, right? So he just turned 21. Definitely can fend for himself, but it's also nice that I'm able to still help him. I know he's in season. If he's gone, I can pop over, clean up, like a mom cleanup, and just help where I can. Okay, those laundry that looks like all yellow pile that used to be white, what happened? Fix it. So, we have a really fun relationship that way. He's so much fun. We get along great, and we're at a really cool chapter, and I'm having a lot of fun.
We all know that a mom cleanup is a different kind of cleanup. It hits different. Now with this though, this isn't the main point of the podcast, but just for anyone that might be listening, that either is an athlete, maybe entering the transfer portal, or is a mom with a kid entering the transfer portal, just any advice that you could give? Like, what's your number one piece of advice?
Well, it's really funny that you brought that up because it's something we'll probably get to at some point. So that is kind of where I am segueing in my life. So I'm also dropping a podcast. I've also created a course that's directed to help moms in my situation, just a mom of an athlete. I got asked so many times, how are you and your son so cool? Why are, my teenage son can't stand me, or my teenager just thinks I am so not cool. And you guys have such a fun relationship. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Instagram, you can put what you want for people to see. So it did take a lot of work though, but we are really, really close. And, I think with me trying to segue now into saying, hey, there's a course, there's something I can help. I think I'm onto something there, as well as obviously this, game gear thing. It's important, I think, for me to share like that part of it. So the nuggets, I think, within that transfer portal and being a mom of an athlete is just really continuing to be that parent still be the mom, still be the parent, still enjoy the process, be a shoulder, be support, and don't be hard on them all the time. I think one thing about Ethan, the first thing I always ask him, I still ask him after every game, did you have fun? We always start the conversation that way. Did you have fun? Yeah. And then we start getting into the sports side of it. So he's never had that pressure. And I was an athlete too. So collegiately, track was my sport. And that's, an individual team sport. So there was so much pressure on me alone as an athlete. I understood that process, and I understood kind of where he would be as a mindset. So yeah, it's been really fun with that part of it.
What is that like, being a former collegiate athlete yourself, now having your son pursue his own collegiate athletic career?
This interview would be different if he was here, which on my podcast, he's going to be my first guest, because I think a lot of people have that question. And I am fortunately, and I guess unfortunately, we'll see what he says, right? I was really firm. I wasn't really like, oh, are you okay? Like I was just never that mom. If it was something like, oh man, I'm having a bad day, okay. Like we still signed up for something. We still have to get this done. We still have to get focused. And I think that hard-nosed part of our relationship has made him who he is today. So he definitely works hard. He definitely likes challenge. He likes the pressure. He likes to compete. So yeah, I think that was what I learned, going through sports. My dad ran some track. My mom wasn't as athletic, but definitely supported me. So my takeaway and my give back to my son was really pour into him, make sure he feels like he has the tools and the confidence to step out on any field, any given day, and handle the business.
I love it. Always giving that support, but also giving the space to let him kind of go and be free and do it by himself.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Like I said, he just turned 21, so it's a fun chapter and it is really cool to now see him, not need me, right? That's the hardest part of being a mother is you raise this person to not need you. And then here we are crossing that road. I'm like, oh man, he doesn't really need me anymore. He has a lovely girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, this is here we go. Like it's all like I'm weaning myself out of the picture, but in the meantime, he still forgets to order contacts. So I'll be around a little bit longer.
You already mentioned you do the mom clean, so he still needs you. He still needs you. Well, I also love, you are certainly a mom, and I can't relate, but I have an amazing mom, and I know that will always be a huge part of who you are, of being that mother. But at the same time, I love that you're so independent and unique in yourself. Like I said, you are very much, your own person, though. You don't just, I feel like, place your identity only in being a mom, though that's an amazing thing to identify with. You are also yourself, and you're an entrepreneur. You are doing this game day gear thing. Tell us more about this side of Joni, of outside of the mom, who you are, what you do, and everything else you're up to.
Right. Again, maybe that's the athlete in me. Like 3 months after I had him, I was like, okay, this is great. I'm a mom. Now, like, what else can I do? And it wasn't to take away from that motherhood side of it. I loved every part. I'm loving every part of being a mother. And I hope that everybody has to, or is able to have that experience. But I was also a single mother. I was married to his dad. We got divorced. And within that space, I was like, I gotta make this happen for him, no matter what happens, no matter if the support is there, if not, my mom was also a single mother. So unfortunately, I was able to kind of see that process. But what I did with my mom's process is I perfected it and I said, okay, what can I take from that and make it better? You always want your child to have more, right? So my mom's poured into me and I said, I'm going to take this to the max. And the only way I can do that is to really not be reliant on anything else. How do I do that? So, after 3 months after having him, I took on two jobs. I took on 24-hour fitness. I was working at Jenny Craig, and I always had that kind of a hustling type of mentality. At Jenny Craig, I met one of my clients. I always pushed athletics, even though Jenny Craig is a food-based program. I always pushed, hey, go work out, go do something. Like that's the athlete in me. She came to me one day and she was so proud of herself for signing up for a boot camp. And I'm like, well, that's cool. Like, all right, she did a boot camp and she's listening. She goes, yeah, this lady has a boot camp. She does it 3 days a week and she has three groups and she charges 199 per group and there's like 60 in each group. So of course my brain's doing the math and I'm like, wait a minute. So along with me like saying, hey, I want to have that entrepreneurial spirit, I needed a job to take care of bills. But I said, let me start this boot camp. I can do a boot camp. My degree's in kinesiology. Like I can do this. I'm an athlete. I know how to jump around, help people lose weight. I like to help people. So I started out at a park and started with a couple of people, grew to more people. Temperature started to change in California. And I'm like, I don't want to be outside in the cold. I don't want to have a random dog running past me. Like, I don't know. So I got a storefront and then I opened up my own gym and had that for about 8 years. And yeah, I think I just in that process learned a lot about people, a lot of interpersonal skills that I had before, but really refined them because I had to create something out of nothing. I was just telling my brother the other day, when I opened my gym, I just opened it with no equipment, literally no equipment. I think I got like a Swiss ball and some weights from like a TJ Maxx or something. And people would literally walk in and they're like, there's a boot camp. And I'm like, just trust me, please. Just give me an hour. Like I'll give you a free week. Just give me. And I did. I was able to hold my business for about 8 years. It started to really run me. I didn't have enough time with Ethan and that kind of thing. So that's kind of where I grew out of that. But that mentality of like, I can do this. What else can I do not just to make money, but to make sure that I'm taking care of me and I'm satisfying my needs as well as being a super mom. So yeah, I took that and ran with it and was able to meet some great people along the way, had some really cool opportunities. Nike found me and I was a NTC trainer with Nike for a few years. So I was like on their app and it was really cool and doing live activations and did some fitness modeling. So people always joke, they're like, what don't you do? Do you ever sleep? That's why you look so young, because you don't sleep. And I'm like, maybe that is it. I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of where that mentality came into, like, that entrepreneurial spirit, and try something, just try.
This is amazing. And I want to pause before we go further because I actually want to go back. I want to go back to, I feel like we skipped a little the story here because you're like, okay, I was doing the boot camp outside. I didn't want to be cold. I didn't want to have a dog running around. So I opened a storefront and I'm like, whoa, where was the in between though? Take us back to that moment a little of just what kind of like faith and hope and trust and belief in yourself did you have to get to that level?
You nailed it. It's the faith I had in myself. My mom's raised us with great faith and responsibility. And I just, in that time I knew Ethan was reliant on me. So my schedule, because when I found out I was pregnant with Ethan, I was trying to make the Canadian Olympic team. I was still competing. So I competed up until I was 5 months because I was just like in denial or something. And I was more scared to tell my coach than I was to tell my mom I was pregnant. It was really weird. But my schedule after having Ethan was I was still working at 24-hour fitness. So I had a client that did not miss a day and she came at 4 a.m. 3 times a week. So I was out of our little apartment. I was still married at the time. Out of our little apartment at 3, for 3 a.m. to get to work for 4. I would be at work for a few hours. I would then leave, go to Jenny Craig, a city or two over, sleep under my desk for about an hour till we opened up at about 9, took clients until about 1, left there, went to track practice in between, and then went back to work and got off at about 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m. every night. So along that way, we entered the divorce and the boot camp. During the boot camp process and opening up the space for the gym, I had a client come in and he called me and he had the thickest Jamaican accent ever. Like just this Jamaican accent. And I had an ex-boyfriend that was Jamaican. I totally thought it was like maybe him playing a joke. And he says, I want to come in for an appointment. So I immediately called my brother. I'm like, hey, Jason, I just think this is such and such trying to come in and be weird. Do you mind coming into the gym and just hanging out while I take this interview with this person? And this guy comes to the door and it's a little short, little Asian guy, I call him my little Mr. Miyagi. He comes in and he's like, I said, how can I help you, sir? He goes, my name is Tetman, with the thickest Jamaican accent ever. And I'm like, oh, it's a client. So the story behind him was he was also somebody that never missed a beat with me. He was and maybe it was to support me. But at some point he says, when are you going to let go of your other jobs and have faith in your business?
Mm.
And I'm like, Ted, I have bills. I am now divorced. I have a rent. I have a car note. How? And he just said, have faith. You're closed all day because you go to this other job and you're missing out on business. And I literally went in, I think probably the next week, and said, hey, I'm putting in my 2-week notice with no idea of how I was going to pay my bills. But again, faith, right? And everything just worked out in itself. And I'm still friends with all those clients that I started with. They're on my social media and they laugh looking at Ethan. They're going, I remember that little 3-year-old that you walked in at 5 a.m. in the morning and put him in the back office and then cranked up the music and kicked our butts. And I'm like, yeah, he's 21 now. So it was such a great learning experience. And it's what I want to pour back into people to remind them. You can do anything. Anything is possible. Put your mind to it. It might be hard work, but you got to start somewhere. You really do. And then here I am now, fast forward years later, I'm still creating little businesses that I'm just having so much fun.
So let's go into that now. That was a little bit of your past, what kind of built you into the woman that you are, and what you're still using on a day-to-day basis, like you said, and what you're doing with being an entrepreneur, with building different businesses, different side hustles that you have going on. So what all are your hands into now? Because I know you got some fun stuff. You mentioned already the course, couple new things that have yet to be really launched. But what else are you up to?
Well, first things first, I still have a really great job that I love. So outside of, or on top of, or first and foremost, I work for a great company. I'm still within the sports industry. I've just always been around sports. So I work with Game Breaker and I'm an account executive with them. And, we do like protective headgear and equipment and different things for schools and universities. And most colleges use them for, their practice gear and that kind of stuff. So that has been a blessing because I was able to let them know, hey, can I move cross country with my son? Sure, no problem. You got this. Go handle it. So I love them. I'm super appreciative of them. And it allows me that flexibility to say, what else can be done? So I know that I had always wanted to do a podcast myself or really just help people. Like at the end of the day, like I really, how can I help? How can I take my tools? Somebody's going to watch, as you think too, and probably believe, somebody's going to watch this podcast and take a nugget away and say, dang, I needed that from Cameron today. I just needed to see that post. I need to see her on stage. I needed to hear that word from her. I can go on. So to me, that has always been my common chord of what I want to do. So after getting here and having a little bit of me time. So even though I came with Ethan, just being, I think, out of California, which I didn't realize I only had lived in California like my whole life. I just never lived anywhere else, which was so weird to me. But I, I'm there. My mom's there. My best friend, my brother. My brother has 5 daughters that, as soon as Ethan left, I kind of was like, come on, guys, what are we doing? And I'm like school pickups and hanging out with them. And I didn't really have time for myself. So the move over was really a time for me to say, all right, take a deep breath, slow down. We got Ethan under control. He's set and all that stuff. What are you going to do for you now? Well, how are you going to utilize this time? And I went back and said, you know what? I really want to focus on how can I help some people? A lot of people now are watching through social media Ethan's process. They saw, wow, like, I think, or they even missed the middle, right? They just see, wow, she's living her best life. She's in Miami. She look at her. She's got this. She's on the 16th floor. Like, that's cool. But there's so much more to it, right? There's so much more behind the scenes. There's a lot, and it's not just work. You got to work hard to get here. It was more about the faith and taking the time and betting on myself and believing in myself. So that is how I came back to saying, you know what? How do I start a course? And you see them a million and one times. That was another thing, right? We see them, right, Cameron? We see the podcast, we see the courses, and it's like, okay, if I get one more advertisement on Instagram, sign up for my course. Like, okay. But in retrospect, everybody has a story. And like I said before, it could be one person that needs to hear your story. So that's why I said, just do it because you said you were going to do it. And it's one of those things, you're a competitor and you said you're going to do it. So yeah, I kind of leaned into that time with my space away from my work my job, and said, I'm going to focus on the course. I'm going to, work on the podcast and just try to help people as much as I can. So, and then here enter in a whole clothing side hustle, which has been so much fun. That's
Yet
like,
another thing. Why not?
why not? Because why not? I've got the kid, and my best friend was talking to me the other day. She goes, "Hey, I was thinking about having some sweaters made." I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm your best friend. Like, why would you do that? Like, just ask me." And she's just like, "Well, you do everything." She goes, "When have you?" I said, "When have you known me to not say yes?" I said, "I'm getting better at my no's. I've always said yes to everything, and I've learned those boundaries, but I love saying yes. If I can do it, I'm going to do it." So, yeah, I really fell into this game gear thing, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been so fun. And as I've realized just from going through socials, this isn't something that's new to you, though. This has been something, I mean, you've been doing this your entire career as a sports mom. Ever since Ethan was growing up, even in high school, you were always doing just super creative pieces of clothing to wear and support him. And so from high school to now, what does that process look like? When you are prepping for a game, are you doing this like weeks in advance? Are you doing this the night before? Like, what's your planning process like for some of these game day fits? Because they're amazing.
That is a hilarious question because yes, so high school, so it started kind of with the Pop Warner, right? I'm like, okay, we'd get like the, hey, parents, buy your little $25 shirt. I'm like, I just don't want a plain shirt. Like my shirt's got to be a little bit special. So I would like, put some slits in it or something on the back or like tie it. And then we get to high school and it was the same thing. It was kind of like, well, the gear is kind of boring that they want us to purchase. How do I style it and try to be fashionable? Because I've always been the awkward athlete. Like I'm always in tennis shoes and I'm always like tennis shoes, comfort, but I'm like, I got to step my game up. My kid's doing really well. I'm super proud of him. And I always try to embarrass him as much as I possibly can along the process. So I'm like, how do I be like that mega mom? So that's kind of where the high school stuff started. And then even in high school, a lot of his teammates, moms, my friends, hey, can you make me a sweater? Hey, can you do this? And I was like, oh, this is fun. I don't know how good I am at it. Am I being efficient? Like, have I learned my cricket properly? Like, I love arts and crafts. One thing about me too is I love to scrapbook. I'm one of those. I call myself the brown Martha Stewart. I just love scrapbooking. I just do. Um, so, as far as the timeline goes, so Washington State is where I was like, I'm stepping my game up. But my brain is such an athlete, I couldn't get out of that kind of jockey, urban-y look. And I'm like, all right, well, that's cool still. It's cold there, so I don't have very many options, right? So Miami changes the game. But Washington State, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna custom his stuff and make it really trendy and really cool because I think I'm pretty trendy. I think I'm a cool mom still. And I did. So I did that. But coming to Miami, the moment he said, I want to go to Miami, tell me why I was like looking online for everything Miami. And I was like, okay, colors. Okay, what can I do? And I'm like, I'm going to plan ahead this year. And I'm going to be one of the hip moms. Like I want to wear like heels and I want to be a girly girl this year. So that was kind of the one thing I went into it. And before I had even fully moved into my apartment, my guest bedroom closet is all stuff. I didn't have a plan, but I knew if I had to cut something up, if I had to bling something out, it is in that closet. So I had, I mean, shoes and boots and like everything was purchased in advance. I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. And then comes the Notre Dame game. And my brother was coming. It was a huge game.
Which this is the first game of the season.
First game of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know these girls are going to come with it. Because by now I've been here for a little while and I've been out, like out. And I'm like, oh, well, everybody's half naked and everybody's really trendy. And everybody, okay, I don't want to do that. That's too much skin. And I want to, like, just, it was all these things. And, it's college. So, and I'm a mom. So at the end of the day, I don't want to embarrass him that much or that way. So I took a jersey that I had bought weeks in advance. It was just a random jersey I found on eBay for like $7. And I'm like, how can I pinch at the waist? Can I do the sleeves? I'm like, what if I just cut it in half and split the elastic over? And if you look at the outfit, that's all it is. It's a jersey split in half, flipped over. So the elastic's at the waist. And like I said, I'm pretty creative when it comes to designing stuff. And I have a Cricut and all that fun stuff. And even since then, I've stepped my game up with like the sewing and, all that fun stuff. So that's kind of where that started.
How much time goes into this? I know you said for this season, like you kind of have maybe the supplies ready in your closet, but how much time does it actually take? Which I'm sure it also depends on the outfit, but like to put together these outfits. Because you have other jobs, as you've mentioned.
Right, clearly, I do. So I get both embarrassed and proud to say, some of the times I would do the outfit like the morning of, like literally. Besides the like the airbrush last one, I think the other ones I was still like stitching and gluing stuff on like the morning before and like blow drying it so they could dry in place. I'm like, let me just blow dry this and. I had a vision, like even now this week, I'm like, okay, I have a vision and I haven't started on what I want to do. Tomorrow I'll start on it. I said Tuesday is usually the day I get started. So yeah, I definitely don't have them done in advance, but they are done the week of.
Do you have like a dream where you want this side hustle of yours to go?
I didn't at first. And then my brother is like my biggest fan. Ethan and my brother are like the biggest cheerleaders. So on top of that, I kind of love that segment out of support. I support Ethan, but he supports everything Mama does. He is like, dude, big mom, you got this. And then I have my brother who is my first best friend, the OG best friend. So he's like, sis, I really think you're onto something. I think you're onto something here. And I'm like, Jason, but this is crazy. I'm getting people are DMing me and they want to order. What do I do? And he's like, do it. I'm like, but my podcast, he goes, do it. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So yeah, I think I'm at the point now where it's like, just do it. Don't, there's no perfect timing. And I tell people this, I tell the younger generations this, there's not a perfect time for everything. If you wait, you're just going to keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waste time. So yeah, I've accepted offers. I am working on several pieces already, different universities. So you'll start seeing my stuff everywhere else. I like being one of ones. My goal isn't to be like, let me be, what is it, sanctioned or whatever by the NFL, like the young lady that, went viral with her stuff. I don't think that's really my vibe. I think I want to hear from a proud mama as well, or a wifey that's like, I want something that I'm going to only have. And that's kind of the phone calls and the DMs that I've gotten. It was, I love this out. They'll send me a picture of this, one of my jeans, for example, the ones that went viral.
Yes.
I want that. And I'm like, cool. It's going to be yours. It's going to be one of one. And it's not going to look like that, but it's going to be yours. What's the number? What do you want on it? And then I kind of go from there on building it out. And I said, give me your pieces. Send me your jeans. That's the key. So I think my business is more of a like that. I'm an upgrader. Like, let me upgrade your stuff. Send me something that you're comfortable in. Give me kind of a quick vision, not a ton of details, and let me do my magic. And that's it.
I love it.
That's the science behind it.
Joni's just working her Miami magic over here, but making it any school, any place, any climate.
Yeah, yeah, it's really funny. So I definitely, because of my son and relationships that we have and my brother, and I've always had this personality. And so we just know a lot of other sports mamas. We know a lot of parents that have their kids playing at Texas A&M, Alabama. Hey, stop it. Alabama, and just all over the place. So you'll see those gals in their custom pieces coming up.
I cannot wait. I'm going to have to get my own custom piece so that I can wear when I'm hosting all the Hurricane games this season for sure, for sure.
Absolutely. Send me your piece. Let's do it.
We are going to do it. So y'all stay tuned for my custom piece too. But Joni, I love this. I mean, you are truly, like you said, just a go-getter. You love just serving people and growing, I feel like, yourself too. Seeing, like you said, seeing what else you can learn, how you can upgrade yourself, not just, your skills, but different facets of life where you're working. And so in this, you actually touched on this slightly a little bit ago. But what have you learned in terms of prioritizing those yeses and also prioritizing those nos? How do you feel like you find that balance of like going after these great opportunities that come and arise, but also saying no, or saying no at the right time, or saying no, when you can't fully afford to give your full capacity in that? What does that look like? How do you say yes to something, and how do you say no?
No, super, super great question. I have learned that, yeah, like you said, not everything deserves or requires a yes, and you have to learn how to say no. Opportunities are going to come. I think I've gotten to a point at my age to just say, this is something that I know that I can do, and give a good percentage of myself to. If it's something that I'm going to have to go half on, I don't want to do it. If it's something that I know I'm not going to be able to give my best, I don't want to do it. So I have had to tell people, you know what, I don't think we're quite a fit. Maybe you should try this, or let me see if I can find somebody that can do that for you. And it's not so much with the gear business, but just other things. I have a lot of people that ask me to help with their sports organizations, and the old me, yeah, sign me up. What do I do? I got you. Because I want to help, but it's going to wear me thin. And I am loving having nice, clear skin. I'm loving gaining healthy weight. I'm loving the Miami glow. And I'm like, I don't want to have stress pimples. And, even at my age, I don't want to have that stress. I don't want to come home and be up all night trying to get something done. As much as I want to help, I have to prioritize my peace. So.
That's so good. Prioritize your peace. My mom always tells me, protect your time. Protect your time. It's your time. People can take it from you. You got to protect your time. Again, mama knows best, right? Mama knows best.
For sure. She's spot on with that. And it's funny because I'm at this age, and I always say age. Like, definitely don't feel old. I know I don't look old. However, you look back, and I guess we all say this, like, man, if I knew then what I know now, like, I probably would have been like the president or something. Like, this is crazy. These nuggets, I feel like I have to share with everybody. I have to share with and inspire and excite and tell people, just keep going, keep pushing, keep after it. But yes, first and foremost, choose happy, protect your peace. Period, point blank. If there is anybody that brings anything into your life that doesn't serve you, and it's negative, and it's just not in your spiritual realm, bye. Just bye. And it's a polite bye. It doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be, dirty look. Just goodbye. And I'm going to move on. And I've learned how to do that gracefully as I gotten older. Even with friends that I thought were going to be with me till the end. They became polite goodbyes. And that's okay. And I feel totally comfortable with that. So those are where my no's come from nowadays.
There you go. And we're going to keep getting the gold nuggets from you, because I got more questions to go on. And so you talk about this inspiring. You love inspiring. You love serving. You've already clearly touched on the fact that you want to also, talk to moms too with this course that you're developing too. So I want to know, in terms of some advice and inspiration to mothers, we touched so much on how your identity is not limited solely to being a mother. Again, we are saying how amazing motherhood is. The fact that you already said you hope everyone can experience it, Lord willingly. But at the same time, you're more than that, which maybe even speaks volumes because of how great being a mother is, to know that you're still more than that. What advice or inspiration would you have? Either, I think an audience for this could even be current mothers now, to inspire them that, like, hey, you still got more in you. But then also maybe even, women who are thinking of having a child, but thinking that means, my dream goes to waste, or I can't pursue this. What would you say?
Right. So exactly my point. So along the way of everything I've done, I became a certified life coach. So I went through that process too. And again, though I've worked with clients before. So, one thing I was talking to my virtual assistant with that helps me with all my back end stuff. It's, I don't want to just focus just on the sports mom or the sports parent, because there's other people that can use that word as well, and that inspiration, that motivation. So it is important to me to say, yes, I can share life experience as a mother, but I also have a lot of life experience on choosing myself and separating the two. So I think the advice would be, again, to anyone, is to really just take time. And I think a lot of people are using that word and that term self-care. Um, and it's got watered down to where it's become avoidance. And it's like, don't avoid. Self-care isn't avoiding reality. Self-care isn't doing a bubble bath and painting your nails. Self-care sometimes does mean start the business, girl. Go, go out and meet some new people. Go and interact and try something new. So I think that's hugely important to part of what I want my message to be to the world is, yes, you can be a mom and you can be an amazing mom. I think I am the coolest, best mom ever, and my son can attest to that. He is the sweetest, he's well mannered, and I think he's the world. And I do think that I did pour a ton into him, but I also poured a ton into myself. And there was only a small bracket of my life where I wasn't certain, and I wasn't in my own space. I was in a space with somebody else, and I didn't have that opportunity to really grow as a person. And when I was able to step out of that situation and step back and take a look and say, what do you want? But what's going to make you happy? What to the core makes you happy, actually happy? And of course, the first thing is Ethan. And then I'm like, okay, but I'm raising him to be not with me. So then what happens? What happens then? So at that point that's when I said, let me do all these things. He's going to be my biggest cheerleader regardless. I can still be his biggest cheerleader. We can still live 5 minutes apart and still only see each other once a week. It's okay. Like, life goes on. It's going to be fine.
I love it. No, and I love that. I feel like we've touched on so many different topics in this podcast, which again just shows you are so multifaceted and have your hands in a lot of things. Yet at the same time, you carry the same mindset through everything, whether you're being a mom, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a podcaster, building a course, teaching people, being a life coach. The list goes on and on. You said it to start the podcast of, what does Joni not do, right? And I love it because I feel like so many of these different things tie back to playing where your feet are. My story and so much of what I've done, you tug on the headgear even. I've dealt through 6 brain injuries. I did the college athlete life myself. I did the college coach life myself. Now I am a TV host, sports reporter, author, podcaster, all the things. Very much, I see a little bit of myself in you in wanting to do so many things, helping people, but also knowing boundaries of where to say yes, where to say no. Also knowing your identity doesn't lie in what you do. It's simply who you are. And a lot of this is tied into the core belief of what Play Where Your Feet Are not only is all about, but also stands for. It's what we preach on this podcast. It's what we write in our books. It's what we say in our sermons. And Joni, a lot of your life aligns with that as well. And so I want to ask you, in your very own words, what does Play Where Your Feet Are simply mean to you?
Yeah, I love that. I love what you guys stand for. I love that entire, build and what you've done with that too. So play where your feet are for me definitely means play big, play where you are. It means take advantage. There's no perfect timing on anything. If it feels right for you and it feels right at your time, then do it. So, I strongly believe where you are is where you are. So just go for it.
I love it. We say a lot, don't waste today waiting for tomorrow. so often it's, oh, when I get more money, or when I get more followers. That's a big one today. When I have more people, and then I can start a boot camp with 100. It's like, just do it with one and grow from there. And in that, you say just do it. It's the former Nike person in you, just do it. Just play where your feet are. But I think we also understand, for some people, that's easier said than done. And so in that, Joni, any advice for them to get started, for them to go out and play big and play where their feet are?
Yeah, another great question. I definitely have learned more about community, right? So even if it's small, like you said, like at the park with my one person, build your little community. Like you and I have connected. We're not going to ever disconnect at this point, right? We align with too many things. So it is kind of like, hey, what can I gather from the next person? If I'm not there, find people that are doing it. Find people that you think that are doing a good job of it, are doing it ethically and doing it in your pattern, in your wave that you want to do it, and just kind of study it a little bit and say, you know what, I can do this. Talk to people about it. Don't be afraid to just say what it is. I started telling people, now part of my list of things when I talk to people, it's, oh yeah, follow my social media, but I also have this page and I do this. Like, I'm not afraid to say the things that I do. And I used to in the past only pick and choose what I told certain people. But what I've realized as I've gotten older, and with social media especially, throw that spaghetti at the wall, because something's going to stick. Something's going to stick. Somebody's going to say, oh, I need that. I need to talk to her. Oh, I'm interested in that. Oh, you know what? My sister might be able to use that. My cousin might need that. Oh, I wish that I had that when I was younger. My daughter needs this. Those are the type of things that I think really connect dots and connect people. And the more you can build that little bit of a community, I think you can really expand.
And I think that's so valid too, because it's like they say, shameless plug. It's truly a shameless plug because you believe in what you've built. It's not saying, hey, here's me, like come buy this from me, or come do this for me, or come help promote me. It's like, no, actually, I believe so much in what I'm doing, whether it's my game day gear and I can make you feel confident and bold and fashionable at a football game, or it's, hey, I can make you feel your best self physically, or I can make you, protect yourself, or whatever it might be in what you're doing. You believe in it so much, and that's why you're spreading the word.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw a meme not too long ago, and it says something along the lines of, something like, if you're messing around with me, you might mess around and start like a few businesses. Like, I might inspire you to start a few businesses. And that is like so me. Like that is so me to a T. Cause I'm like, if you're going to be my friend, I'm going to push you. I'm going to be the friend that's going to motivate you and push you and get you across where you need to come across. And although my life coaching business is a business, my clients have always been somebody that I've taken to my heart, and they're friends and they're people that I care about and I love, and their passion became my passion. Okay, how do we get there? What do you need from me? And that's the life coach side of it, business. But I think, again, when you have a community or you have people around you that you can trust with your thoughts and your ideas, and even if you don't, that's where the life coaching, somebody that life coaches come in handy. People don't know what that is. What's a life coach? Is it a therapist? No, sometimes you just need somebody to hold you accountable. And sometimes your friends mean well, and sometimes your family mean well, but that's not necessarily who's going to get you across that threshold of, being where you want to be. So yeah, I 100% agree with everything that you're doing as well too, Cameron. Like, you're helping spread the word of getting people back involved in a community and getting grounded and figuring out that they can do this.
Yeah, and I think, if anything, I think we just kind of bounced off and related on, or reiterated is the better word, reiterated the fact of the importance of community, because you said, like you said there, of, hey, if you hang around me, you might end up doing the same things I'm doing. And that's where you check your circle of friends. That's where you check, hey, the 5 closest people around you, you're going to end up the average of them. And so that's so much speaks into the importance of, hey, if I have strong women, strong people, strong business owners, strong believers, strong whatever it is that you're seeking for around you, you will become the average of them. And so there's power in the people that you bring into your life. And hey, going back to saying yes and saying no to people in your life as well, there is power to the people in your life. And hopefully,
right where there's two, it is confirmed. So
there you go. Hopefully we are the weakest link weakest links in our circles. You know, we are looking to grow stronger because there are stronger people around us. And there is a stronger person around me in this Zoom right now with Miss Joni, of course. Girl, we could talk for hours on hours, and I wish we could. We'll just have to do that in person next time. But
I'm getting Game Gear stuff for you. That's when that'll happen.
we're planning it. You'll see once I start hosting basketball season, I have like a whole.
I love it. You're a whole vibe too. So I did my little research too, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's such a boss. She's so amazing. So yeah, and I'm sure you hear it from your family and your friends too, but I think you're absolutely amazing. So, takes one to know one, right?
There you go. Real knows real. Well, Miss Joni David O'Connor, girl, you got a lot going for you. We're so glad you hopped on the podcast today. You do have a lot going for you, though, and we want to know where we can find it. So here is the shameless plug moment.
Plug moment.
Where are you at? Where can we find
Everybody's on the gram. I'll have the TikTok, so you'll find me through the gram, and you'll find all the other stuff as that gets layered on. But my it's no longer personal. It's never been a personal account, but Joni at Joni David 24/7. That's where you'll find me. And then, the business side of it, where we're growing that page and that sort of thing, is Game 24/7 by Joni. So Game 24/7 by Joni. Yep.
I love it, girl. This is so fun. I so appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable and sharing so much of your story, from motherhood to just absolute boss, everything else. I want to give you the floor one last time, though. Any other gold nuggets, final advice on any area of what we talked about, or maybe what we didn't even touch on? Anything else you have for us?
Well, I think besides, always keep God first. And continue to lead in that path, and he's going to always lead you. So I don't think he makes any mistakes. I believe he makes no mistakes, and everything with purpose and reason. So, if I let him take lead a long time ago, and I'm just here for the ride, and wherever he directs me is where I go.
Amen to that. Joni David O'Connor, thank you so much for joining the PWYFA family. We love you. We're so excited to have you here in Miami with us. And go Canes. You're a girl boss. Keep doing it and play with your feet, all right?
Play with your feet.
What an awesome episode of the PWYFA Play Where Your Feet Are podcast. Y'all, anything we mentioned in the entire episode, you'll find links, handles, tags, ats, all below. So check that out in the description. And stay tuned for more of season 4 to come. We got a really good episode next week with a professional football player, tease, tease, wink, wink. And then we're going to wrap it up in January with a solo-sode from me. Season 4 is almost done, but we still got so much more to come, so stay tuned for it all. And of course, go to @PlayWhereYourFeet Are on Instagram to find all the fun updates for camps, retreats, clinics, speaking engagements, books, discounts come Christmas, and so much more. That's a wrap on today. Be blessed. Play where your feet are.